we're here with Anna TAFE trainer and assessor, Jesslyn Lear, an employee here at NEMI, and Daniel Nottle, her supervisor. So last week we met with Jesslyn and one of her other supervisors, Emma, and we discussed some of the basics around what this training program would look like. So I'm just going to go over some of what we discussed in that session. So we're here at NEMI, which is a mental health organisation. Its focus includes values of peer workers, a recovery-based model, utilising psychosocial rehab. So we're here at the Hendon site. We moved here, you guys moved here a few months ago from Port Adelaide, which was the oldest NEMI site in Adelaide until its closure. So Hendon is an amalgamation of Prospect and Port Adelaide. And so I've been brought in as a trainer because NEMI has recognised that, particularly in SA, staff lack expertise in working with young people, as we do not have services that are targeted primarily at young people here. So staff have been surveyed, and 3 areas that were highlighted are referrals. Staff feel they don't have enough knowledge of specific services. Advocacy, staff are unsure about how young people wish for them to advocate for them and with whom, and follow-up. Staff are unsure of any additional process when doing paperwork and follow-up for minors and youths. So as we discussed last time, I will be using the UOC provides services for young people appropriate to their needs and circumstances. Because it includes the benchmarks that will be useful and that have been identified as necessary for staff here at NEMI. So we discussed some of the roadblocks around finding coverage and said we could circumvent this by seeking coverage from other sites and community mental health, and that we could also look at doing some online components of the study. Yep. Now, when we discussed your learning styles, you said you're a kinesthetic learner, that you like to learn through observation, and you're also tactile and like to learn through doing. Yes. So in order to incorporate that, we're going to have some role play around case studies. We're also going to have opportunities for you to shadow staff when we do our site visit to Headspace. And so you also mentioned that you have a mild visual impairment, so we'll make sure that all of our resources and reference sheets are blown up to a size that you're comfortable with, and I'll also be checking in with you if you have any issues coming up as we go along.
Yeah, that'd be great, thank you.
So some of the skills and knowledge we'd be looking at is different services that are available, rapport building, looking at assertiveness in order to effectively advocate. There will be some overlap with the training you've already done, so I'll review current training on the site to check that what I'm teaching is new to you still. And so I guess, Dan, if I could follow up a little with you about the site, about if there's anything I need to know as a trainer when working on site.
In terms of
access, safety and access.
Yeah.
Sure.
Look, we lock the front door, so I guess you need some access. So it's probably something we can provide as a key. But in terms of orientation of the office and that sort of stuff, so fire exit and that sort of thing. So we'll give you a tour of the office from a safety point of view.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Okay, so in terms of our training schedule, as we've discussed, we would be looking at the 3 different sessions held in consecutive weeks. The first on referrals, looking at knowledge of services, discussion of the case study, and eventually some assessment around making a decision on who to refer them to. Then our second session would be looking at advocacy, so practicing assertiveness, some discussion around rapport building, and a role play of how to effectively advocate, which would be the assessment portion as well. And then our final session would be the external site visit, where you guys would do some shadowing, potentially identify some mentors for ongoing support, and provide me with a written report of what you've learned. And so Just in terms of learning and alignment opportunities for the organisation, a lot of this learning can be applied to work with all of your clients, and it also we can also potentially use the learning in the classroom to create an organisational document that incorporates NEMI principles into working productively with young people in the services. Okay, so in terms of feedback, I'll be providing feedback forms at the end of each session. I also welcome feedback if there's anything that you need further information on or was unclear to you during the sessions, or anything you'd like more information or us to explore further. So we will begin the first session as of a fortnight from today.
Okay.
And
they'll be weekly, is that right?
Yep, so it'll be the 3 consecutive weeks from then.
Yep.
And then, so in terms of, I understand you have an internal review with your professional development. So in terms of mentoring and supervising, I imagine you'd be catching up with Jess in between these training sessions.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'd be doing our own internal reviews and providing supervision.
Potential follow-up if there's further training Jess would like from this.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Well, thanks very much, guys. I look forward to it.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Alright, so if I can just get you to sign the agreement here.
Sure, just see?
Yes. And Dan, if I can just get you to sign as well.
Wonderful.
Excellent. Thanks very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.